forward button here. Hey,
Yes,
good evening,
yes, darling, I'm
everybody.
ready.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Healthy by Choice, our Tuesday night class. I want to thank you all for being here. My name is Heather Abbott, and tonight we're going to be talking about sleep matters, which, of course, we all know is important, but there's a little more to it. So please allow me to introduce physiologist Dr. Gary Lindner. Dr. Gary, how about you take it away?
Well, thank you, Heather, and thank you for all joining us this evening for this Healthy by Choice class. We are going to start, as we always do, with a little bit of review, and I think we can all agree we can't put a price on our health, because without it, we don't have much. And what we are talking about here is taking some very simple actions so that we can all be healthier. And we define self-care as an active process through which people become aware of some problems and then make choices for a healthier life. So tonight we're going to talk about the problem, which is basically insufficient or poor quality sleep, why we have this problem, what could be causing it, and then some solutions for it. So chronic disease is a growing global issue. And again, this is just a little bit of review of what we talked about in some of the other classes. And this is a huge problem. Basically, 50% of adults worldwide have at least one chronic condition, and 1 in 3 suffer with 2 or more. Chronic diseases are accelerating globally and advancing across every region and pervading all socioeconomic classes. It's unfortunate that we spend nearly 90% of our healthcare dollars are spent on treating these diseases, which, according to the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control, are largely preventable. And they usually say somewhere between 80 to 85% are preventable. And this is the way we treat them, and it's usually with pharmaceutical intervention. 5.8 billion prescriptions are filled in the US per year, but we aren't alone. We're followed by Canada, Germany, and France, and nearly a 50% increase in pharmaceuticals dispensed over the last 10 years in the UK, with a shocking level of 15 per individual. And these numbers continue to go up. So I think there has to be a better way, and really that's what we're talking about, and our focus is through self-care. These are the types of diseases we're talking about, and these are the 5 biggest killers on our planet. They account for close to 70% of deaths are due to chronic disease, and we're talking about heart disease, stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory problems, and diabetes. Now, all these diseases share some common risk factors, and most of them are environmental. In other words, they're not genetic as to their cause. So what we want to focus on are some of these things that we can modify, these modifiable factors, to lead a healthier lifestyle. So the reason we have this problem with chronic disease, I think, boils down to some really simple concepts. But first we have to ask, what's changed? I mean, what I mean is, why is this such a problem? And if we look at the early 1900s, the biggest cause of disease and killers were infectious disease. We're talking about tuberculosis, pneumonia, gastrointestinal infections, things along those lines. 100 years later, it's chronic disease. And there has to be a reason for that, because we haven't changed much biologically in the last 100 years, but we've changed a lot of things around us. So the 4 simple concepts that I talk about really are, most of us don't drink enough water, and we live in a state of chronic dehydration. Our focus for tonight would be sleep, insufficient sleep. And the average adult gets less than 7 hours of sleep per night. We have weight issues, which many times is fueled by not being well hydrated, not getting enough sleep, but also too much sugar consumption. And we live in a pretty toxic world, and each of us have more than 200 contaminants. And we're going to talk more about that subject in Body Burden Matters next week. So let's get on with Sleep Matters. And this is a new presentation with some new slides that Heather put together, and she's done a great job on them. So the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention calls insufficient sleep a public health epidemic. the World Health Organization calls it a global epidemic of sleeplessness. And some of the ways you might determine if you're not getting enough sleep or sleep deprived would be if you need an alarm clock in order to wake up on time, and then rely on that snooze button. And that may sound familiar to many of us. Or you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, feel sluggish in the afternoon, need a nap to get through the day. Some other things are you get drowsy or heavy, or you get drowsy after a heavy meal or when driving. You get sleepy in meetings or lectures or warm rooms, and hopefully you're not getting too sleepy during this presentation. Or maybe you fall asleep by watching TV or need to sleep in on the weekends. And one of the things other people say, think that's a good indication of sleep is if they fall asleep really fast. And usually that's not. That means you're really carrying a sleep debt. So the average adult sleeps in less than 8 hours per night, and research indicates that less than 8 hours is associated with many health risks, including fatigue, heart disease, weight gain, diabetes, anxiety, stroke, kidney disease, and cancer. And it's interesting to note here that the National Sleep Foundation survey that they did in 2013 asked a large number of people how many hours they slept per work night. And as you can see, none of them are close to that 8 hours of sleep that we need. And what they think, and what this indicates is a big myth about sleep, is that we can make up sleep during the weekend by sleeping in. And we can't do that. It's not a weekly cycle, it's a circadian or daily cycle. And we really need to get 8 hours out of that 24 hours of good sleep each night. So lack of sleep. Let me skip that slide. So I had an audio that was from a previous, I'm sorry about that. So I have some suggested reading here, and night table reading, if you will. And this is by Matthew Walker, PhD. He's a neurophysiologist at the University of California, San Francisco. And this is a very, very elucidative book on why we sleep. And he talks about that. The recycle rate of human beings is about 16 hours. That's when we lose some of our cognitive function and our ability to do tasks. And also that how that affects us, not just mentally, but physically. And it's an excellent book. He also has some great videos and some short videos and TED Talks that you could take a look at as well. So he used to suggest that sleep was the third pillar of good health along with diet and exercise. But now he's saying it's the single most effective thing you can do to reset your body and brain for health. And to counter with that as well, to go along with it, the father of sleep medicine from Stanford, William C. Dement, says healthy sleep has been empirically proven to be the single most important determinant in predicting longevity, more important than diet, exercise, or heredity. So what's the problem here? I think it's twofold. One, there's certain things that wake us up at night that prevent us from getting a good sleep. And the second, and I think and not to put it second, really is our perception of sleep. We don't consider sleep to be a productive part of our day. We really think that it's unproductive, so we stay up late at night or get up early to finish projects. I have friends that get up early, and I mean really early, like 4 or 5 in the morning, so they can spend an hour and a half in the gym every day. And they tell me they get at most 5 to 6 hours of sleep. And they think they're making a healthy choice, but really they aren't, because sleep is when our body rejuvenates, resets, detoxifies, and sets us up for a very active day. If we aren't getting that sleep, as we talked about, a lot of health issues can arise from that. So don't get confused by this slide. It may look a little confusing, but when we sleep, we go through 5 stages of sleep. And we need to complete 5 cycles of those stages to get a good night's sleep. And each individual cycle, as it goes from stage 1 all the way to stage 5, which is rapid eye movement sleep, takes about 90 minutes. So even if we're a very, very effective sleeper, which most of us aren't, that takes about 7.5 hours of sleep to go through those cycles. Now, one of the other things is these cycles have to take place consecutively. And if they're interrupted, we have to start over again. So some of the things that may interrupt that, and let's say we're moving from stage 2 to stage 3 while we're sleeping tonight, and all of a sudden we hurt a little, we have discomfort, or we're too hot or too cold, and we feel too heavy in one spot, so we start tossing and turning. Or maybe we have some breathing issues and that wakes us up. Maybe some other temperature fluctuations to where our head feels too hot and we wake up and move to get a cool spot of the pillow. And many of us experience that. But what that does is interrupts that cycle. And if we're moving from stage 2 to stage 3, we have to start back at stage 1. So we never complete that cycle. And this prevents us from getting that 5 repetitions of the 5-stage cycle. So how about a quality night's sleep? One that's sound, deep, restful, rejuvenating. You know, even back in the 5th century BC, Sophocles wrote, "Sleep is the only medicine that gives ease." And if we were to take that statement, it stands to reason that a lack of sleep or poor sleep gives dis-ease. So this is the Nikken Kenko sleep system, Nature as sleep system. And it's got a lot of different technologies in there. And what we're going to talk about is how those technologies help us get a better night's sleep. So we have magnetic technology that replicates the Earth's natural energy. We have orthopedic support for all body types. We have massage nodules, reflective temperature regulation with bioceramics woven into the fabrics of the sleep system. And it's a fraction of the cost of a premium mattress. It's environmental responsible materials and environmentally safe materials. And it's designed and engineered to promote quality sleep. So if we look at some of these common reasons why people don't get a good night's sleep that are listed on the left, here's how this technology helps with that. So we have the tri-phase technologies, the magnetics and some bioceramic fibers. And what these do is they help us relax so we can go to sleep quicker and shut our brain down. That used to be an issue I had. I would sit there and just think of everything I needed to do, or everything I needed to do the next day, or the things I didn't complete today, and just could not shut my brain down. We have the comforter that helps with temperature fluctuations. It keeps our body at an even temperature. And this has some great physiological benefits too, because the one thing that we do our entire lives that we expend the most energy doing is keeping our bodies at 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 Fahrenheit. And if we have something that helps us do that through the evening, that conserves energy. And our body uses energy, and what it wants to use it most for is to repair itself. So that's a great benefit, kind of a side benefit of some of these technologies. We have the Kenko Nitro's topper that has those massage nodules and also the Earth's natural energy of the magnetics. And the massage nodules give us kind of a little passive massage during the night, so we don't feel too heavy in one spot. So tossing and turning isn't as frequent, so we aren't waking up and interrupting the sleep cycles. And we also have the Nitro's pillow and pillowcases, which can help with some breathing issues, and also keeps that pillow and the pillowcase to where we aren't feeling too hot and we aren't moving the pillow to find a cooler spot. So this is really great technology designed around to alleviate some of the problems why people do not sleep well. So this is our healthy choice, and I'm just going to say, because this is one of the subjects and one of the products and technologies that I appreciate most about Nikken and giving us healthy lifestyles, is this product. I call it the cornerstone of the wellness home, and it is it's phenomenal, and it can actually. I'll tell my own story in just a little minute, in a minute, but it's a phenomenal product. We have some other sleep products. We have the Kenko sleep mask. We have the pillowcase that we mentioned. And we also have a sleeping bag that we call the Kenko Therm Cocoon. And the reason I put these up here is really they help. Heather and I travel with these. We take the pillowcases, we both have a sleep mask, and we take the cocoon. And wherever we are traveling for virtually any period of time, it's our own portable sleep system that we can take with us to get a good night's sleep while we're on the road. I also want to mention the Kenko ground. It's really not part of our sleep products, but many people have, and many clients, customers have told me they have added this to their sleep systems, and they're sleeping better. And I might add to that, I sleep on the Kenko ground on top of our sleep system every night too. And what I've noticed is a little deeper sleep and more vivid dreams. So I've added that into this as well. And down the road, I would like to do a specific class on the Kenko ground and the benefits it gives us. So a few years ago, Nikken Corporate called me up and asked, they said, Dr. Gary, there's a lot of sleep systems that are being moved through your Nikken distributor number. And we're just wondering how you do it and any tips that you could give to the field that might help them to help others get a good night's sleep as well. So I said, sure, I'll write a little article and talk to them and told them what I was doing. I said, how about I write a little article and then you can publish it? And they did so. So what I really did is I asked people questions before and after using the Nikken sleep system. So the questions were like, when I get out of bed, I feel stiff and sore. So give me a number between 10 and 1, where 10 means that you always feel this way or it's a big problem for you, and 1 meaning it's not a problem that you have. You don't really feel stiff and sore when you wake up. And then go through these. So I asked all these people, and I've done this to date with about 274 people. So it's a large size, group size, but it's not a scientific study. Don't take it as such. It's basically just how people were feeling before and after using the Nikken sleep system. But the results are pretty amazing. Nearly a 50% improvement in how they felt they slept in less than a week. So that's and these results continue through the years to be very, very similar. And again, this was just after 4 to 7 days. So the problem, we don't get enough sleep. So I'm going to give you some 7 steps for a better sleep. Stick to a sleep schedule. Put it on your schedule just like you would any other important activity. Because it is very important. Many times we take it for granted, and finish that paper or that project or whatever it is without getting a good 8 hours sleep. Pay attention to what you eat and drink before going to sleep, and create a bedtime ritual, whether that be reading or turning the lights down, maybe some meditation, whatever it might be. Limit your daytime naps, but include physical activity in your daily routine, and that'll help you sleep better. And manage stress. And again, that could be through deep breathing or some meditation, anything that reduces your own stress level. And get comfortable. A dark, cool room is the best to sleep in, and highly recommend the sleep system. Sorry about that again. So this solution, the Nikken sleep system, and it is the one that I highly, highly recommend. It's again a good example of Nikken using science and technology to replicate nature, so we can all be healthy by choice and not leave our health to chance. So I'll tell you a little bit about my sleep prior to the Nikken sleep system. I couldn't relax. I couldn't shut my brain down. I'd lay there awake in bed for an extremely long time. And when I fall asleep, I'd fall asleep and wake up, look at the clock, and it'd be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half later. Fall back asleep if I really did fall asleep, look at the clock, and again, it'd be about an hour to 2 hours later, and continue that through the night. Even though, as a physiologist and taking courses in the physiology of sleep, at that point in time, I was very busy, ran a fairly large business, Applied Genetics. And it's not that it stressed me. I loved it. I loved what I did. but there was never enough hours in the day to complete everything I thought I needed to get done. And I'm sure many people can relate to that. Um, so that interrupted sleep, I just kind of played off as, well, maybe that's just a natural sleep, you know, for me in my adult life. And then started to research it some more. And then I was introduced to the Nikken sleep system. And I'll tell you, within 3 or 4 nights, I was sleeping through the night, many times waking up in the same position that I laid down on the bed, and getting up in the morning like I did when I was a teenager, just full of energy and just bouncing out of bed like I used to get to the baseball field or wherever it is I was going. And it is the best sleep. I think many people on the class tonight, after we're done and we do some Q&A, will attest that it is an incredible product for great sleep. So the solution we have here is to be healthy by choice is the Nikken Wellness Home. We talked tonight about the sleep pack. A few weeks ago, we talked about dehydration and how the Nikken water pack helps with that. Our Kinko air purifier and air matters, so we aren't breathing toxins. We have the energy pack to help us also detoxify, but also help give us more energy, more balance, more vitality, if you will, and some nutritional products to help support our body as well. Nikken has this solution, the Wellness Home, is simple, it's easy, it addresses all 4 of the areas of why chronic disease is such a rampant global problem. So we invite you to join our global wellness community. There's 2 ways to do that. First, register as a customer. That's free, there's no obligation. You have the direct ability to order Nikken products on your own through your own website or web portal. And you have first access to new products and special offers. Or you can join our team in our global wellness community as a consultant and help others be healthy by choice as well. You can get back with the person that invited you on this call for more information about that. But what I'm really passionate about is every one of us having the opportunity to make simple choices to be healthy. So we have some good freebies for you at the selfcarehub.com. And one of the things that we monitor is how we're sleeping, the quality of sleeping. And again, we're looking at hydration and really how much sugar we're eating each day, some physical activity. So this is great. You can download that and download others at the address here, selfcarehub.com/freebies. And there's you can also look at the blogs that we do. So last week's blog was on sleep matters. This week's blog will be on the body burden and how environmental toxins affect our health. And our class next Tuesday on February 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll talk about that. And our purpose, again, is every home. Our mission is every home a wellness home, so we can all be healthy by choice. So thank you guys very much. We're good to go with some questions. We got some time.